What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to talk about just my personal opinions on this situation involving Jussie Smollett. And I'm going to read through an article that was posted on TMZ.com and just give my thoughts and opinions as I go, and also just give some more commentary after finishing the article. But TMZ has an article entitled Jussie Smollett, I got jail time because I'm black. So right then and there, we already know that Jussie is totally playing the race card, bruh. No way, bruh. Yeah, bruh. Jussie is totally trying to play the race card. But let's get into this article, though. So Jussie Smollett, aka Jussie Slutlet, believes there's one overarching reason he was sent to jail, and it's not because of the hoax. He says it's because he's black. Sources with direct knowledge and in constant touch with the Empire actor tell TMZ Jussie fully expected to get jail time. Well, duh. I mean, if you lying about crimes that didn't happen to you and implicating people in those crimes, that would be something that you would expect. Or at least that should be something that you should expect. And also, I kind of feel like he got off a little easy, to be honest. I think it could have been a bit, like the sentencing could have been a bit more harsh. But let me continue. He, Jussie, told his defense team before sentencing he felt he would be treated more harshly than other defendants convicted of a nonviolent crime, all because of the color of his skin. He thinks it's more evidence of systemic racism in the judicial system. Oh my gosh. Jussie he really is playing that race card, bro. And I'll say this, I don't know how Jussie identified before this situation happened, whether he was identifying as, mixed, biracial, non-black, I don't know. And I think he has a black mom and a white/Jewish dad, I think. So if he has a black mom, it could be possible that he does identify as black. But then again, if his father, his white Jewish father, was in his life, he could also identify as being mixed. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing for him to identify as being mixed or biracial, but I'm saying that sometimes people can kind of jump in and out of blackness when it's convenient. And right now, it would be convenient for him to jump into blackness so that he could claim a racial victimhood, being a victim based on race. Even though it's like, well, you pretty much brought this all on yourself. And while I do think that there is systemic racism in the judicial system, I don't think this is an example of that. Let's be real. I don't really think this is an example of that. Perhaps if we are able to compare cases of people who've done similar things, it's probably not exactly a point blank equivalent case, but probably some similar cases to this. Perhaps maybe we can compare those cases and see what happened and what people received as far as sentencing when it came to making up stories and reporting false crimes. So again, I do think that there is definitely systemic racism very much prevalent in the legal system, definitely. And also just bias, definitely. But I don't feel like this is the case that should be the example of that. This case is way too problematic to be the example of that. And perhaps people may accuse me of being on some respectability politics type crap. And perhaps, but I just feel like ultimately this just is not the case. There are way more worthy cases and examples of systemic racism in the legal system. Let's continue. Jussie Smollett told his team after sentencing he was dead on when he predicted the outcome based on the animosity the judge showed toward him. He called it, quote unquote, unfortunate and quote unquote sad. I think the judge was probably angry at you and had animosity toward you because he probably felt like this was just a big waste of time and taxpayers' money to actually even go through with this case, and was hoping that you probably would just take a plea deal. And as well, when you know someone is just straight up lying, there's a good chance that you're probably going to have a negative attitude toward them. But again, I think that Jussie Smollett ultimately got off pretty easy. I mean, yeah, 5 months is a bit of a time. I mean, it's not like he's doing 5 years, but 5 months, is a bit of a time. But he could probably get out on like good behavior, or probably work out some sort of a deal to do like house arrest as well, or something like that too. Maybe. The article goes on to say, as you know, the judge read Jussie the Riot Act. Saying the hoax was rooted in a desire for more fame and attention. And I kind of feel like that may be a part of it. I think that was like what it ultimately revolved around. Wanting some notoriety, some attention, some fame, some shine, some promo. And I'm not mad at Jussie wanting those things, but the way that he went about it was completely wrong. And also, you do have to realize that Jussie, he is in this situation, he's coding as a black man, whether, heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, whatever. Ultimately, he's coding as a black man in this situation, and he reported the hate crime based on being black, or at least part black. And this can ultimately affect next black person. Unfortunately, it's just the way that it's probably going to be. The next black person who is truly a victim of a hate crime. And folks already want to look for reasons not to really deal with racism and take hate crimes and other acts of racism seriously. And then they're going to be thinking, oh, well, this could be some Jussie Smollett type of situation going on. That'll be the excuse that they'll use to not deal with the case, or either treat the case as if it's not really important, or not really something like it didn't really happen. It's a lie. And he is also calling on these like pro-black organizations like the NAACP and the Rainbow Push Coalition and whatnot. And I'm like, this situation did not do black people, especially black men, any favors. If anything, it was counterproductive to what in the NAACP and the Rainbow Push Coalition and other organizations are striving for, or at least what they claim to strive for. The article goes on to say, we reached out to the court for comment, and a rep for the Cook County Chief Judge's Office tells TMZ, quote unquote, judges can't comment on pending cases, and it's pending. Okay, so we can't get a comment from the judge at this moment. The article continues as we reported. Jussie Smollett will be held in protective custody as requested while serving his time behind bars with security cameras and an officer with a body worn camera monitoring his cell. So it looked like he's gonna be in like solitary confinement, more or less. Like he's not gonna be in the general population. Not like he's gonna be being sent to like federal prison. He probably gonna be put up in like the county jail or something. But I know Jussie. I know he ain't really feeling that. I know Jussie Smollett ain't feeling that. He wanted to be in general population so he can get tossed around, if you know what I mean. Y'all know how Jussie Smollett get down. Slag mag. But it's okay to shame Jussie for being a slutlet. He's a guy, right? So it's okay. It's all right. It's just being fair and balanced, right? Because, if this was a woman, we'll definitely, the whole society would be shaming her for getting down like Jussie does. But that's another story. So the article goes on to say, our sources say Jussie spoke out in court about not being suicidal because he wanted to make it clear to the public that if something were to happen to him in jail, it was foul play. And our sources referenced the Jeffrey Epstein outcome. And that was what was on Jussie's mind when he made the comment. Interesting. Not Sandra Bland? That's interesting. Because that's kind of like what popped into my mind initially when they talked about this. About, Jussie wanting to make sure to have on record that he is not in the mind state of trying to take his own life. Because that's what people were saying about Sandra Bland and saying that's what she did. But perhaps maybe Jussie just identifies more with Jeffrey Epstein. Maybe that's just the first thing that came to his mind. Maybe he's never heard of Sandra Bland despite being the first gay Tupac. I don't know where he got that from. Leave Tupac out of this, Jussie. And the article goes on to conclude with the following. Jussie was taken into custody following Thursday's sentencing, and we're told he spoke with his defense team Friday, telling them he's okay and filled with hope. Well, you should be okay. I mean, the time that you were given isn't a lot in the big scheme of things. Yeah, 5 months is a bit much to, take off, right? But Jussie will be okay. Jussie will live to slut another day. So that's the end of the article. And basically what I'm getting at is just basically Jussie, is just a lying little slut. Not just wasted a lot of people's time, got a lot of people worried. I mean, and also he implicated 2 black men in it as well. Granted, they were being paid and willing participants, but still, he got a bit of blame on his hands for that because he didn't have to offer an opportunity like that to people. And to be fair, they didn't have to take it either. I just looked up some information, I guess a bit more information about this case, and it looks like the judge sentenced Jussie to 30 months of felony probation. So I'm not sure if Jussie is going to be considered a felon or not, or it's just like the probation as if he is a felon. 150 days served in Cook County Jail, and he's ordered to pay $120,000 $106 in restitution to the city of Chicago and a $25,000 fine. So I hope Jussie got some money. I hope he saved a couple of bucks, because I know them acting gigs have dried up, for at least for the moment. And that's a shame. That really is. But I can understand some people not wanting to have that negativity and that associated with their projects. Definitely. And they also had his grandmother come up. His 92-year-old grandma came up, Molly Smollett, and told the court, she's like, I asked you, Judge, not to sentence him to prison. If you do, send me along with him. Okay. Now, how that gonna work? A 92-year-old woman, and she looks to be Caucasian too, in prison with her 39-year-old grandson. See, this is the part, folks enabling this. Now, yes, they try to put on the united front. I can understand not wanting to go to the media and bash Jussie for what he has done or suspected to have done. But also, though, you got to be careful about what you support and what other people support too, and what you lend your name to. Now, Jussie's grandmother, she's more or less at the end of her life. Not being shady, but I'm just saying, like, she's lived the majority of her life. She's most likely retired, so she's not trying to seek any sort of job opportunities. But I'm just saying. But let's see. But this article says that someone said, quote unquote, the damage you've done to yourself is way beyond anything else that can happen to you from me. You are now a permanently convicted felon. Oh, wow. Whew. They came down harsh on Jussie a little bit with this convicted felon thing, though. I'll say that. So, I'll give Jussie a little grace. A little grace. Because I'm thinking, okay, there is a history of Caucasian women lying on black men. Did those women who lied on black men, did they get felony convictions for reporting false crimes? I don't think so. So I do think the felony conviction part of it is a bit harsh. Now, I think that is the part that he should be fighting to prevent or fighting against. I mean, he wasn't like running drugs or participating in, violence or sexual crimes or anything like that. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't be punished, but I think that part of it may be a little bit harsh. I hope the two Nigerian brothers, I think they may actually be like blood brothers, I think. I hope they didn't get a felony conviction over this. What happened with their sentencing? Did they get sentenced to anything? Are they going to be deported if they don't have citizenship? Because you can't be a convicted felon and be on a green card. Like, nah, they don't let that fly. So I hope they didn't end up getting too harshly punished. And I believe they were paid like by Jussie $3,500. I'm not sure if this is $3,500 each or just $3,500 in total. I'm thinking it's each, but I don't know for sure. But I believe both of the brothers, or at least one of the brothers, was like Jussie's trainer at one point. And outside of the training, I think they used to like club together, or at least one of them, because I think Jussie was on record as saying that he liked one of the brothers, but not the other brother, because the other brother, quote unquote, creeped him out. But I think both of them, or at least one of them, ended up testifying against Jussie. Shoo-wee. I guess all that clubbing, cocaine, marijuana, and bathhouses, I guess all that meant nothing to him because he straight up threw Jussie under the bus. I guess he like, nah, I ain't getting deported. I ain't going to jail for you. But that's how it be though. You know, like the saying goes, there's no honor among thieves. And while none of them stole anything, as far as I know, ultimately it boils down to there's no honor in being dishonest, especially about something like this. You know, so let that be a lesson to some other people out there. You know, y'all can club together, y'all can sniff coke together, y'all can smoke that good green together, y'all can even take baths together. But at the end of the day, gay or straight, these ninjas have no honor. Because if they did, they probably wouldn't have even participated in this to begin with. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Jussie Smollett and this whole situation. Let me know what you have to say about all of this in the comment section below. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now. One more thing I do want to mention and bring up is, do you think that Jussie would be a prime target of a hate crime? And I know some people may feel a certain way about me asking this, but I just bring this up because, like, Jussie, he's biracial, so he probably isn't the most, like, identifiably black person. Not to say that people may not consider him black or see him as black, but what I'm saying is, as far as, like, the target, like the prime target, and like, oh, let's get him. Because some people were a bit shocked when this first happened and everyone was, on his side and believing him or were, advocating for him. But also there were some people kind of felt it was a bit odd, like, really? Like, he's the target of a hate crime? And also Jussie is a celebrity as well. And also, I believe it happened at night, so I think that's a bit weird too. You can't really get a good look at somebody at night. So from a distance, Jussie might not even code as black, or be clocked as black, or at least even part black even. But then I guess the argument could be, oh, it's just because he's, of color, perhaps. But I just wanted to bring that up right quick, that little piece up, before, I completely end the video. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching. Adios and goodbye for now.